Good evening, all. Welcome to Tweaking Twisties, session 11, that is on commercial management of construction works. It is primarily focused on preparing yourself for the final assessment interview, which is very important for answering at the precise time when the question is presented to you. Although the questions will be asked from your summary of experience, case study, and CPD activities, but it can be extended to the competency requirements which have been suggested under your pathway. So the pathway primarily we are focusing is quantity surveying and construction and also project management. But we will take, if there are any candidates from project management, we will try to address some of the questions relevant to them. Otherwise, primarily our focus will be on quantity surveying and construction. Commercial management of construction works, it's having the focus as a commercial manager. Commercial manager can be from contractors side as well as from other stakeholders. Maybe a commercial manager from the supply chain, subcontractors, or else from the employers representative. So if they are coming from employers representative, they will be focusing on how they will make sure that the development will be profitable for the employer. And if they are representing the contractor, then the profitability for the contractor, and same applies to the subcontractors. If they are subcontractor representatives, then they will be focusing on their profitability, how they are going to maintain. Because this is about commercial management of construction works. That means it's already there in the construction phase, not during the design development or feasibility study, nothing like that. So only during the construction phase, the commercial manager role is addressed within this competency. So when we see commercial management of construction works, this is the primary competency that covers nearly each and every other competencies, because the commercial manager has to do all the tasks which is relevant within the quantity surveying and construction spectrum to maintain the profitability of their organization. So in order to achieve the profitability and maintain it, they have to do each and every task that can be done during the construction phase. In such scenario, so it is relevant to all other core competency and some of the optional competencies, because the commercial manager is the one addressing all other aspects of the competency requirements under this pathway. So what are all the things we have? If we are taking commercial management at core level, then we may take design economics and cost planning at optional. If at all you are familiar with cost planning and cost estimate during the pre-contract stage, because after that it won't be necessary. Other than that, you are a design and build contractor. If you are a design and build contractor, after the contract, yes, of course, you are going to do the design economics. And even the specialist subcontractors who are all taking the design responsibility, of course, they are doing the design economics and cost planning. But whether this is your day-to-day task or it is part of your commercial management, that is the question. Even the commercial management that covers the design economics and cost planning, because you have to take some tasks which are covered under the design economics and cost planning in order to achieve the same with respect what is the design responsibilities you have during the construction phase. So here we are going to address the questions and try to answer. If you are ready or you are a candidate, it is important for you to try to speak up, because only when you are trying to speak up, then only you will be comfortable when you are going to interview and answer the questions immediately, because within few seconds you should start answering, not simply beating around the bush and trying to remember and just going back to some definitions. Not like that. You have to clearly focus on addressing the question presented to you by the assessor. The assessor may ask from your summary of experience or case study with his own perception That means it may not be exactly what did you do when you have undertaken the task during your experience. Either it may be case study, key issue resolving, or summary of experience, evidences. Whichever it may be, the assessment panel may have different aspects.
Okay.
Okay, somebody didn't have muted. Okay, let us continue. So when the assessor having different perception, he will present the questions with that idea. So it may be the same scenario, but from the different angle. So you should be able to answer immediately. You should not delay. If you keep silent or if you go back to your definitions or idea, then the assessment panel may interrupt you and prompt you to move forward with the next question or next competency, or they may ask you to come to the point. So that is the case. So it is always good for you to keep practicing. So keep practicing answers during these sessions. That is very important. And even though you are practicing with your colleagues or you have some team formed up for daily practices, that is also good. If at all you are not doing there, at least you try to speak up during these sessions, then only it is possible for you to answer whenever the questions presented to you by the assessment panel immediately. That is the things. We may know the answer. We have all the experience to address the question. But the problem is whenever it is prompted, immediately getting to the core and answering precisely, that's what it makes you successful during the APC. So please try to answer the questions what we are going to discuss. It may be right, wrong, that is not important. What is important is you are trying to answer it. So please be ready with the mood for answering or trying to answering the question, or try something to relate it from your own experience, because the questions presented here are common, although it is presented in a way that is scenario based. But as a APC candidate, during your interview, you should always present the example from your experience and answer the question. If at all it is directly asked from your summary of experience example or from case study, so the scenario is already there. Otherwise, you have to bring some example from your experience. That is what it is important. So always relate to your experience. So this question at level 3. So primarily it is focusing on project finance and cost control. We are seeing cost value analysis, evaluate and advise on a contractor's cost value reconciliation and forecast. How would you explain significant variances between applied, certified and ledger cost, and what management actions would you recommend to address them? So what is presented here, it is about cost value reconciliation, what you are doing during your construction phase to address cost control or maintain the project finance. So here what it is there, what is applied, that means application of interim payment, and certified, what it has been certified, how much it has been certified. Applied and certified, there must be some difference. And then ledger cost. Ledger cost is the cost incurred, actual cost, because always the applied and certified are the value. It covers your overhead and profit. But when it comes to ledger cost, it is purely cost, direct cost. And what management actions would you recommend to address them? Because there must be some differences. Maybe some of the reasons are known to you. You can relate to your experience and try to address them. Please, anybody try to answer or try to discuss from your point of view. Hello, Mr. Joshi. Are you there?
Yes. Yes, sir. I'm here, sir. Why, sir. Good evening, sir.
Thank you for joining.
Yes,
He is a member from previous batch. He has been successful in his APC interview. And
Yes,
he
sir.
was always the first one to try to answer during our sessions.
Yes, sir.
That reflected in his APC interview also. So
Yes,
he
sir.
was successful.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir. Very
so
nice experience,
you,
sir, that one. Hmm.
yeah, thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Would you want to say something about this question? Anything related?
Yes, I want to say something, but others also, they are also appearing. Let us give chance to the new students. That is my thinking, sir. I am ready. I will try my best here, but students are there. They have to also speak.
Yes, of course. That's what we
Uh,
are trying to do. So if
yes,
we
sir.
start, maybe they will join.
Yes, sir. Now here the
Hussein,
question
you want
is.
to answer something? Mr. Hussein? Okay. Yes, Mr. Joshi.
Now here the question is the what management actions would you recommend to the address them? This is the level 3 questions. That means I have to advise the management based on my cost value reconciliation statement and whatever the forecast is there. Hmm. Based on I will first of after observing this figures numbers from this cost value reconciliation, I will advise my management that this cost value reconciliation reports give this strictly spot the potential problems on the ongoing project or the ongoing project. So I will advise my management to uh, control the ongoing cost in the project, also minimize the overspend in the in project, and also and to implement the corrective actions on certain areas where where there is a negative impact on certain for certain atoms there. And also if I will advise my management, if my cash flow is positive, then if my company is making some good contribution, it is a greater peace of mind, also greater peace of mind to the management. So and also and finally, I will advise my management that to price in future projects accurately based on this cost value reconciliation.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Hussein, uh, so you are unmuting, but we can't hear anything from you.
Hmm.
Anybody wants to try or add something to this? Because cost value reconciliation is the exercise what we do usually to verify whether we are achieving the value according to the cost we incur. So the value what we are receiving divided by the cost incurred. So
Cost
usually it should
incurred.
be over than 1. So if it is not, then we are not getting the value certified what the cost is incurred. So it is maybe cost overrun or maybe delay in approvals. So delay in approvals means what are all the reasons it could be. So it may be the variations not approved, and there are, I think, Mr. Hussein has asked, how do you define cost control? I think you are asking.
Hmm.
Okay, so this cost control, uh, the thing is that you have certain budget, so you want to maintain within the budget the project. The project expenditure should be within the budget. So that's what the cost control. So cost control, whenever you have something like budget and you have a contingency also, this contingency allowance is available for you to manage the risk without losing the focus or incurring any additional cost or cost overrun. The cost control always it is best decision making tool that is available for you to monitor and observe and identify any abnormalities. Then we will be able to achieve the control. So control means the corrective actions you have to do. So how do you arrive at budget means the budget has to be defined. This is construction phase. That means you have already submitted your tender and it has been accepted by the employer. Now you have the entire BOQ, the contract sum. So your contract sum is inclusive of profit, overhead, and also contingency allowances. If you remove these things, you will get your budget. This is the budget for our commercial management of construction works. So this budget you will have breakdown based on your BOQ items and control the cost according to the each and every element of your BOQ item. So this comparison will be done at elemental level and item level and using the work breakdown structure, which are all deliverable. The only deliverable are going to be get paid. The other activities are not going to get paid. So you have to have the cash flow, how you are preparing based on your program of work. So you have the cash flow that will guide you on which month, how much payment you should aim for and get achieved. So if you are ahead of the program, maybe you will get paid more, or if you are getting delay, then there may be lesser than the cash flow forecast. That is different case, but the budget is the fixed one. So if you overspend or underspend, then only you are going to get variance between budget and cost incurred. The budget is the pure fund or finance that is available for the project team, operations team. So they are going to control the budget, the cost of the project, and compare them during the execution. See, if at all something deviating from the budget, then you have to seek how you are going to manage the risk. Are there any fund available with your contingency? Then of course, yes, you will be able to manage those risks by getting approval from your management for utilizing your contingency allowances. Otherwise, it is going to be difficult. If you are exceeding the allowances or there are no allowances for that particular risk, then this is going to be an unknown risk that you are facing now, and that is going to be your lessons learned, and be ready with how you are going to manage that by doing some appropriate actions or getting additional cost saving from other elements or reduce the possibility of occurring other risk in your project and utilize the contingency allowance that is available to you. So we have to take many actions as a commercial manager. So you may do value engineering. That is not going to be a value engineering that you are going to propose to your employer for cost saving. That is not the case, because you may find some of the methods that is cost saving for you to achieve and deliver the same deliverables as per your specification requirements. So here your budget is something that is exclusive of your profit, overhead, and then contingency allowances. The remaining is your budget for the project. And cost control is the measures you are taking or actions you are taking to monitor and analyze, then control. Control means taking some corrective actions if at all something deviating from your expected course of action. That's what it is important. So that is how we are doing cost control. Although the cost control, this is mainly available for you, which it is directly involving as a commercial management. But there is other cost control that is coming in the employer point of view, where change control is very important, because change control, it is directly impacting the cost of the project for the employer, not directly for the contractor. Because contractor, if at all they are working with their original scope, there should not be anything that is called change. So it should be something that is included within your deliverables. That means scope of work. So that one we will be discussing during our project financial control and reporting. There it is for the external reporting. Here it is purely for the internal reporting. Whomever you are representing, you will be considering yourself for the contractor's representative or subcontractor representative or employer's representative. If at all you are representing the employer, then you will be having this change control management within your scope, because every change, whether it is necessary, do you have sufficient contingency allowance to address them, or if at all it is going to add some value to your project, and then you will be able to maintain your profitability. If at all we are doing a development that is for sales or rent, if you are doing it for your own development or your own usage, then the value is going to be something different, that you have to see how it will give you the control during your operations and maintenance for the entire life of the development. So that's what you have to focus. If you are developing it for sales or rent, then you have to make sure the profitability is maintained. Otherwise, if you spend more than the amount you could sell, then it is going to be a problem for you. The employer will not get the profit after the development is completed. So that is the case for the employer's representative, but not for the contractor's representative. Contractor representative, the already agreed value is there unless or until the employer going to give you additional works or change of the scope, then only it is going to be variation for you. Other than that, you are purely working towards your budget and maintain your profitability. That is the scenario. Okay, let us move on to next question. So this is also under the same project finance and cost control scope. Cost to complete forecasting. So how much required? Your project is nearing completion. That means it is more than the works at the finishing stage, and you must present a final forecast to senior management. Detail the key issues you would consider and the data you would use to produce an accurate C2C forecast. That means how do you achieve the accuracy in the cost to complete exercise? Explain how you would justify your forecast, including the management of commitments not yet costed and the reconciliation of historical data. So here you have something that already committed but not yet costed. That means there are some changes may be agreed but not yet costed. That means you did not submit your cost. Still it is pending, or something it is not yet agreed, or some of the things that is going to be done, but still you have to prepare how the cost would be. So these kind of things, when you are doing a cost to complete forecast, how would you measure and advise your management? That is the scenario here. Anybody would like to try answering, please? Sarindu, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Anything about the cost to complete, what it is?
No, sir.
Not.
Not
So you are
really.
employer's representative, so you are
That's the
not
issue.
focusing on
It's
commercial
like
management much.
totally like a blank. I'm all listening today.
Okay, thank you. Anybody? So Joshi, want to say something?
Yes, sir. I will try my best here, sir. Mm,
Yes, please.
uh, as per the instruction of my management for preparing the cost to complete for forecasting work, first of all, I will fix the cutoff date. Up to particular cutoff date, I have to consider the cost incurred in the project in based on my historical data for that cutoff date. Then also beyond this cutoff date, how much balance work is there? I will get the quantities from the quantity surveyor, and balance work I will accordingly for the balance work, what is the material cost and manpower, equipment, subcontractor cost, and all the uh, any risk allowances, I will consider that one. Also, while calculating this balance work, if any material is procured in earlier for the balance work, I will make the correction accordingly in my cost to complete forecasting. For cost to complete, because that material procured for future work, that is also already company has incurred the cost for that one. Then I have to make the adjustment for this. And reconciliation of historical data means what, that as per on cutoff date, how much cost is incurred and how much I have for the pertinent, how much value is the value of valuation of the work is there. I will check accordingly, and if any corrections is there, if that is positive, it is well and good. If it is negative, then I will identify the certain areas for the corrective actions in future work, in my future mm, cost to complete report.
Yes, thank you for that. So it is primarily we are focusing on how much cost we need to complete the remaining work. and make the project substantially completed. That is what we are trying to address in this point. Some of the things like Mr. Joshi said already, we would have incurred some material procurement that has been incurred cost, but we have to make some adjustments to that historical data what we have here, because here historical data, it may be for the incurred your ledger accounts, ledger cost, what you have recorded within your company accounts. Then some of the things that you may find from your risk management that you may need to address it, because when you do these kind of things, you will try to adjust the contingency allowance, because contingency allowance also you cannot utilize completely, because if you are having something, maybe you want to keep it until the end of the project, or some of the things if you didn't utilize, maybe the relevant risk occurring chances have been already avoided, then those portions can be transferred back to your profit or something relevant to that, or you may utilize it for some other improvements within the project. So those kind of adjustments you can do and make sure what is the remaining contingency allowance you are going to keep for the remaining duration. That is also the adjustment you will make, and what are all the changes have been accepted or instructed, how much commercial conclusions have been done according to those changes. If there are certain things that you committed and still you did not get agreed for the cost of the same, then how you are going to have some allowances for those works or changes or variations. All these things you have to take into consideration. Then you will provide your cost to complete report to your management and explain and justify them to your management in order to take some actions like what I said for contingency allowance or further allowance for any variation or varied works that is required to be done. Still, the cost is not concluded. So those kind of explanations you may need to give it to your management. Okay, let us move on to next question. So here again, the financial reporting, design a comprehensive financial report for a project's profitability and cash flow. So I explained what key performance indicators you would include and how you would present this information to both internal and external stakeholders to facilitate informed commercial decisions. So whenever you have the report, what you are going to do? Monitor and control. So in order to have better understanding at management level, so these are the key performance indicators, KPIs are used. Some of the things like cost performance index, schedule performance index, those kind of things are there, which are very standard. And in addition to that, you may have many other cost performance indicators that is used, particularly helpful for your management or your stakeholders to identify the issues at an early stage and take corrective actions by engaging into informed decision making processes. So anybody would like to try? No candidates are not available to try directly. I think we are
Can we
relying.
link this? Can we link this to the earned value management?
Yes, yes, of course. End value management also one of the method that is very detailed to address this. Of
Yes.
course, you can do that.
Hmm.
Yes, please. You want to try something, please, because it will help others. Maybe they will get slowly engaging in
Just
later of this
I am
session
applying
or
my
in future.
logical.
Yes,
I
yes,
am applying my
because
logical
there is
experience only.
no clear-cut, straightforward answer for level 3 questions. It is all
Yes.
from your own experience, what you have been practicing. Maybe the
Yes.
other person is doing much superior version of reporting standards. That can be different. But what you were doing, how it was helpful to your management, how did you address the issues you faced during your experience? That's what it is important. So try to relevant to your experience and answer the questions. That is not going to spoil the answer. because this is what you have been doing. This is your experience. Completely, the APC is about you. So there is nothing right or wrong about how or what you have been doing in your reporting. Yes, please, Mr. Joshi. Yes.
For the design and comprehensive financial report for project profit and cash flow. First of all, I will ensure the certain index for the performance of the resources, such as my if my suppose I will take the manpower. What is the manpower deployed at site? What is the carpenters and there's mechanics, steel fixer, steel bar benders. I will fix their performance indicator, their output indices in my project. Equivalent to same also material also. What is the material consumption for each activity indices? I will decide that one. You can same is apply for the equipment also. And for the subcontractor cost, I will make the budgeted provision excluding the contribution and profit. Yeah, in this way, I will design my financial report by ensuring the each and every aspect of the cost head of the my budget or cash flow, by maintaining my company's the budgeted profit requirement. Accordingly, I will design my report. And for the present for internal external stakeholders already I defined for the all the I think labor cost, material cost, subcontractor, equipment. For the external stakeholders is the subcontractors are there. Then for the investors also there. I will fix also their financial charges, how much incurred in the for the during the expenditure of the project. In this way, I will prepare my report comprehensively and submit to my management for their decision.
Yes, of course. That is the way of doing this end value management. So end value where you have the value achieved and you are comparing with your cost incurred, and you may address some of the things like where you are actually losing or having variances in your value which is being certified to you. So this is what you need to identify and make sure that you are addressing them on timely manner in order to avoid any insolvency issues. Insolvency means unable to pay on time. It's not like bankruptcy, that is some permanent disability of the organization, but insolvency is temporary issue that may occur to the contractor or the subcontractor or any other supplier supply chain. They are unable to pay on time to their creditors. That is called insolvency. So that should not happen means how do you address the issues that may commonly occur within your construction phase. So you may have something like productivity. You have to achieve the productivity from your workmanship, material wastage. So all these things, again, quality control and quality assurance. These are the things, how do you follow the method statement which you are submitting before execution of work, and how did you follow, and what are all the things happening during your material inspection, work inspection. Do you get any abortive reworks due to poor workmanship or material quality not to the mark, or any supply chain inability to achieve the standard? These kind of things also you may have some KPI. How many issues, how many safety near miss incidents occurred or accidents occurred, or how many times you have been getting rejected your work inspection report. So those kind of things also you may consider into your report as a KPI, how many are occurring or how many getting rejected or how many getting clearly approved. And again for the variations, how many variations you have been submitted according to the cost, according to the numbers, how it has been commercially concluded within the time frame without delaying. Even after completing the variation works, if you are not getting certified, that is going to affect your cash flow. So you have to utilize your cash flow. And mostly when we prepare the baseline program, so it is going to define our duration of the project and cash flow as per our project budget. But when any changes occurs, how we are going to address them within the cash flow. That is also very important. It's not the cash flow forecast directly utilized and it is being verified against the baseline cash flow forecast. You have to make adjustment to that. That is also very important. And when you are doing that, there are adjustments like advance payment. You received advance payment well in advance before you commence the works, and retention is there that is going to get paid after successful completion of the project and after successful completion of the defects notification period. So this amount, this cash going to be held until that period. How you are going to manage without those things? Consider you are only having 8% of profit in your project. If the retention is 10%, where there is justification that you would be able to manage within the 90% of the fund certification which you are receiving, getting encashed during the interim payment. That is also you have to make sure how you are going to manage. Yes, of course, some of the subcontractors, they will have back-to-back basis. You will not pay them until the work has been substantially completed and the retention is being released. The same retention is applied to the subcontractors. But in case of suppliers, laborers, you cannot hold them. Laborers are getting paid for their wages on time, on monthly basis, regardless of what you get paid or not. And you have to pay the suppliers based on the agreement with them. Maybe you have credit period longer or shorter. According to that, you have to make sure the value that is available, the net value, it is not the gross value. Yes, of course, when they certify, the gross certification is something different. The net, realistically, what you receive in cash by your organization, that is something different. So you have to make sure how your organization stay solvent during the construction period because of your project execution. Okay, there may be other projects. If you are a commercial management manager at organization level having control over many number of projects, then that is going to be difficult because you have to manage all the projects simultaneously to maintain your profitability. That is going to be on the higher level. But when we are focusing, mostly we are focusing at project level, which is limited to your project budget and cost incurred for your project. And again, this cost coding and all, it is very important for you to have exactly like some of the items, cleaning the works, protecting the works. Of course, these are all covered within your either BOQ items. If at all overall project, some of the things covering many items, then it will be in your preliminaries. How you are going to cost code these items, these labor, these facilities, these materials. So you have to make sure it has been clearly cost coded and allocated to the respective cost sources. Then only each and every element, it will reflect exactly what cost performance it is being represented. That is what it is important. So then only you will be able to clearly advise your management for the course of action that is necessary to maintain the profitability. That is important. So let us move on to next question. So here supply chain management, final account negotiation. You are tasked with negotiating a final account with a key subcontractor. The subcontractor has been submitted a claim for additional works and loss and expense. Develop a negotiation strategy including how you would verify the claim, assess the contractual elements, and advise on a settlement that minimizes financial risk to your organization, because the subcontractor may have other than the back-to-back basis. If you are having back-to-back basis, yes, you can encourage him to submit the same thing and you can add up your overheads and forward the same claim to your employer. And if at all it is accepted by the or approved by the engineer and accepted by the employer, then you can pay on back-to-back basis to the subcontractor. Otherwise, you can clearly convey the rejection to him based on the response received from the other contractual stakeholders. That is the scenario. If at all it is not going to be there, this subcontractor is clearly domestic subcontractor and you have to tackle him based on his subcontract, which is irrelevant to your main contractor. Then you have to do all the verification for their contractual entitlement and also assess their claims and loss and expense claim also for additional works, how they are entitled or what is their entitlement, who is responsible for that additional cost. So you have to verify clearly and advise. Before advising, you may engage directly with the subcontractor for negotiating further, or if at all not within your limit, or you may need to involve your management, you can clearly advise your management to involve such practices of negotiating for a settlement that minimizes your financial risk. Because if you are not going to get paid by your employer, then you are in risk. So you have to make sure that whether it is you would be able to carry forward the same claim to your employer successfully, get paid for it or get approval. Otherwise, what is your options for negotiating with the subcontractor? Those kind of things you have to identify and advise your management and achieve the possible settlement that minimizes financial risk. Anybody wants to add something to this, or you have any experience that you can share? Okay, if nothing is there, let us move forward with the next question. So again, supply chain management, subcontractor performance and risk. A critical subcontractor is underperforming. That means he is not performing to the requirement, impacting the project's program and financial forecast. Advice on appropriate management actions. Explain how you would use your knowledge of contractual agreements and risk management to mitigate future issues, including the use of back-to-back agreements. So anybody wants to try? Maybe still know from the candidates, Mr. Joshi.
Yes, sir. This question is related to my case study. So same case study I submitted in my previous my AP submission, and I will explain based on my case study. Critical subcontractor is underperforming and impacting the project program. So I will advise my management. First of all, I will understand the reasons behind his low performance in the project. And first, based on my low performance, I will take the decision. First of all, if he has any financial problem for the mobilization, then I will check. I will check whether it is possibility to give some advance based on some bank guarantee, and bank guarantee against the bank guarantee. Then I will mitigate his underperformance. Also, if there is if that is not successful for providing the advance to him and not getting the bank guarantee, then I will contribute some his works, contribute some. I will not contribution. I will supply some services to him, so that I will take the responsibility for the materials if any equipment is there, and I will use his expertise, use his technical supervision for the work in the project. Accordingly, I will manage his mitigate his future issues in the project. And if that is not successful in the all these issues regarding the advance payment and extending the support to him, then I will use the clause in my contract subcontract agreement of the termination. In this way, I will mitigate the future issues in the project.
Yes, that is good example. It was your case study.
Yes.
Primarily, you have been doing justification of that one.
Yes,
Of course. As per commercial management, we have to observe or monitor the performance of the subcontractors. So we have to see whether they are achieving the milestones. We have to keep milestones Then only we will be able to verify their performance exactly whether they are moving ahead with the program with cooperation with main contractor's program of work. That is very important. If their delay that is carried forward to other subcontractors or suppliers or the main contractor, then it is going to be a problem for the main contractor because the delay damages, other losses, it is much higher than the subcontractor. The subcontractor, he has very limited exposure, which is with respect to his portion of the works, the scope of works, how much he is having. Based on that value, his delay damages and other losses would be associated with him. But for the contractors, the quantum of loss would be much higher than the subcontractors. So we have to monitor the subcontractors precisely and take corrective actions in order to avoid it is getting into the unavoidable risk. If we are mitigating at an early stage, then we will be able to achieve. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us. Yes, Mr. Suresh, you want to add something here? Please go ahead.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yes, please.
This time I'm attending this course webinar. Okay, just I want to understand this RICS. Okay,
Yes, please.
so one of our in our project. Okay, we are facing one of the subcontractor. Okay, who is nominated by the employer.
Okay.
Okay, that package initially they were followed as per the main contractor's program. That in between
Okay.
there are many from the contractor as well as the employer side. Okay, in between that main contract, employer had terminated the contract, main contract. Okay, then after that they had a mutual agreement and they made a settlement agreement. Then the project had resuming back. Okay,
Okay.
so that main contractor revised their baseline and they are shared to the nominated subcontractor. Okay, for the progress monitoring. So now the material price got increased. Okay, it is not the same price as previously what they have quoted during the tender stage.
Okay.
Okay. But since there being a nominated subcontractor, the agreed contract time was back-to-back agreement. Now the subcontractor is asking for the material escalation price.
Okay.
Okay, but contract says the contract there is no provision for the material claims, escalation claims. Even contractor also unable to take a decision, and the employer also raising their hand since they have agreed before. Now why they are coming up with that revised material price? Okay, but it is a critical item. The project is getting suffered due to this. But is there any standard provisions in the contract to resolve this problem?
There is no standard provisions available within the contract. That means as of FIDIC, that is most commonly we are using. Because when it comes to nominated subcontractor, the payment terms, it can be on the back-to-back basis and interim payment duration, it can be agreed between the contractor and the subcontractor. But other than that, the overall value of the work that has been nominated by the employer.
Yes.
So it is agreed in the presence of an employer that this is the contract amount. So whatever comes in addition to that, if it is getting claimed by the nominated subcontractor, it is the responsibility of the employer only, not the main contractor. Because main contractor is not responsible for this because this has happened out of his control. And again, he is not culpable for this. If the price escalation or inflation that is not covered under the contractual provision, it is always the contractor or the subcontractor's responsibility to include in their risk allowance, that means contingency within their tender price. So that is the scenario. Yes, of course, they may argue this is the duration we agreed, but it is getting delayed because of which they are not responsible. So they have to claim this to the employer only. So employer is responsible for this, for that nominated subcontractor. So if he is not agreeing or he is not going to pay, then the main contractor, he cannot do that. He is not responsible for the contractual value of the nominated subcontractor. So it should be only that the main contractor has to carry forward the claim, defining that why this situation is coming up and how the nominated subcontractor is entitled. So that one, the nominated subcontractor has to prepare the claim and submit, and it has to be forwarded by the main contractor without objecting it. Then the employer has to take decision. If the employer is willing to pay or he is still considering thus this duration also, it is the responsibility of the nominated subcontractor and he is not entitled, then that is going to be a problem. That is becoming a dispute. So it is again either they have to negotiate, mediate, and agree for a settlement, compensate something for this loss. But of course, the nominated subcontractor is entitled for some compensation, but that is not clearly
But
covering
these
under
delays
the
happen
contract.
from the contractor side. What is the solution?
No, if it is from the contractor also, it is already terminated by the employer.
Yeah, that's the reason from his unperformance or any other option, other issues. That's the
I
reason.
didn't get you the.
No, that's the reason employer terminate the contract.
Okay.
That's the reason there are some portion is part of the contract also. There are some delay or something. That's the reason the employer terminate the
In that
contract.
terminated the contractor,
there
then
was
yes, please.
there was a delay in finalizing the provisional sum package. The client took more than a year, and contractor had identified the delay events of more than 45 events in the project. Then they have submitted the EOT. Even though they are eligible for the time and cost, client is reluctant to approve that EOT. Okay, that is the reason contractor they slowed down and they delayed the payment also. Even whatever the due payments, they delayed more than 3-4 invoices. So contractor had slowed down that progress. Then they were discussing for the settlement, EOT approval and prolongation cost. Then client had took more time. Then finally they terminated the contract.
So it is again, it is going to be culpable to the employer only. So employer is the one who has to take responsibility towards this, and he has to give compensation for this, of course. If it is directly by the contractor and he delayed something, then the employer has to make this some sort of compensation that is uh, taken from the contractor and paid to the nominated subcontractor, as I think Mr. Sarindu was asking. But in this case, it is clearly employers' delay events. So they have been delaying unnecessarily for nominating the work packages, professional sum items, then they are responsible for that. And if they delayed the payments as per standard form of contract, either it is FIDIC or letter editions, automatically the contractor may ask for settlement. Otherwise, they may reduce the performance, or even they can go to the suspension of the works. That is also they are entitled to do. So it is not contractor's fault here, or even the nominated subcontractors. They are not responsible for this delay and they should get compensated. But again, how if they are not ready to compensate these things, then that is the problem. It is like usually what it happens in the industry, the employer is not willing to pay. So contractually we can't do anything other than keeping it as a dispute and try to get settled at a later stage, or go up for the some sort of dispute resolution. That is the only option available. If at all they don't have much scope or future options with the developer or the employer, then they may go very well with the claim and dispute resolution. So if it is clearly they have certain, maybe the government entities or semi-government entities or major developers, then they may have some compensation by the award of future projects. That is only like it's not contractual, it is not the right thing to do, but still many agree with that kind of arrangements by accepting the loss in this project. That is what happening. But contractually, other than going for dispute resolution, there is no other options available to the contractor or nominated subcontractor. Anybody wants to add something, or you want to get further clarified on anything else relevant to this? Mr. Suresh?
No, sir. Thank you for the explanation.
But sir, for the payment issue, you can go to the court.
Yes.
Yes, we can go. Of course,
Mhm.
we can go. But that is the matter of you want to break the relationship with the employer and go for the claim directly. That is the main issue. So other than that, yes, of course, this is clearly you can demonstrate at the court or even arbitration. But arbitration may be what is available within your contract. You will try to take that. Of course, you can go to the court. Nobody can stop you from going to the court. Maybe they will ask you if it is in the UAE, like particularly in Dubai, since they have government established arbitration centers that is acting as a commercial courts for the contractual disputes. So they will ask you to go to that one first and then come to the court, not directly to the court. So those kind of things are there. And even before that, you need to seek some sort of negotiation and mediation and expert opinion to proceed with litigation kind of things. That is also necessary for you to proceed further. Yes, Tarindu?
Sir, one more doubt. How at this scenario, how the main contractor planner can notify this as a delay and the employer will accept this delay and how they will impact in the further EOT?
This is clearly, like you said, some number of delay events. So this is that window analysis you have to do case by
Yes, sir.
cases and then report it to the employer as a claim, EOT claim, individual claims. And you have to do it as a overall, like a combined
Okay.
claim in future to have it as a overall EOT for the project. Maybe you can use something like as built over the plan that can be done in a later stage. But initially they have to do window analysis for event by event and submit it individually because every event has a specific impact. Maybe later they can argue something that is overlapping with the other activity that can be done with the as-built kind of analysis. But initially it has to be done window analysis, then only you will get clear and specific impact of that event. That has to be recorded initially by the planner. They have to do time to time as an individual claims. Maybe later you can combine them for a overall claim.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let us move on with the next question. So this one, value engineering and risk management. Value engineering implementation following a design change, a client has asked for advice on financial implications. Explain how you would apply value engineering principles to evaluate the change, advise the client on the financial benefits or cost, and recommend an alternative design or construction process. So here again, this is a change. So design change. The employer is about to instruct. Before that, he is asking the contractor for the financial implications. So as a contractor's representative, commercial manager, you have to see and conduct a value engineering workshop to evaluate the change and identify any alternative design solutions or process solutions, construction method solution are available to you that can be proposed from your end to address the change and minimize the impact. And then the employer would take whether to implement the change or not. So before that, he will ask for the proposal. Usually the employer is asking for the proposal. Then based on the proposal, he will decide whether he wants to go ahead with the change or not. This is change. So it's not proactive value engineering where the contractor would get compensated, but this is the proposal he was asking. So it is not at a scope of contractor's work. So there won't be any compensation otherwise unless it has been already instructed. Okay. So anybody wants to try answering? Yes, Mr. Joshi.
No, sir.
Okay, no problem. So that is the case. So whenever you receive a requirement from the employer for the change proposal, so he will instruct you with the proposal requirement as for
Actually,
proposal. Yes, please.
regarding these questions, consultant may issue the request to the contractor for the value engineering before implementing the changes
Yes, yes.
to give the inputs to the employer or designer for the with the cost impact, with the cost impact and the time impact also. So if you change the value designs, then there will be the additional cost will be, if it is additionally expensive, then they will inform the additional expense. If it is the cost savings, then they will pass on the cost savings due to the changes. Then there will be an impact. If there is an impact in the time, then that will be a compensable delay or a non-compensable delay. That the both they will get it from the contractor. Then they will assess the value. Then they will pass to the employers.
Yes, of course. That is the thing. Then the employer would take informed decision to go ahead with the change or not. So that is the scenario. Thank you for that. So the next one is risk and opportunities. You have identified a number of new risk and opportunities on a project. Detail how you would update the risk register and advise on the adjustments to contingency allowances within the project forecast. Now you have certain budget and a certain contingency allowance already calculated during the tender phase. After that, when it is coming to the execution of work, the construction manager or the commercial manager or the project manager, they receive the budget allocated for the project and make sure what are all the things they are going to do. Project execution plan to utilize the budget and maintain the cost control to be within the budget. So in that case, they will see what are all the risks already listed out by the tendering department. And they may come up with more number of risk or more number of opportunities they can do to reduce the cost. Maybe some of the construction method that will reduce the cost, but still you will be able to deliver the same specification requirements. Those kind of things like having the batch plant. Be if you are having a big development, large, huge development, then you can go ahead for a batching plant within your construction site that will reduce logistic and other weather protecting additives for the concrete. Then the concrete price will be having some cost saving. So this is the method that you can do from your end and still provide the same requirement as per your specifications and execute the work. So this is only based on the method that is available to you as a commercial manager to have it as an opportunity to the project. But some risk, maybe something happening right when you are thinking about some material availability or skill availability, particularly for certain aspect of the construction elements that you are feeling those are going to be new risk which were not addressed within your tender allowances. So then you have to raise these things to your management and try to adjust the contingency allowance to tackle or manage that risk appropriately during the construction. So what sort of those things you will be able to do by preparing the project forecast? This is usually happening during the preparation of project execution plan. Also, this is covered in detail by the project management pathway. But still, as a commercial manager, you are supposed to make sure that contingency allowance are appropriate to the project. Maybe with your experience, some of the elements may not be included by the tendering department, or you may have identified some opportunity for cost saving. Maybe something the tendering department have considered your in-house labor, but the subcontractor is much cheaper for you than the in-house labor. In that case, yes, of course, you can propose the subcontracting and try to have that sort of things. And again, somewhere like if you are having back-to-back payment, this will be one method that will give you additional cash flow surplus because of the delay in the payment. Because when you are receiving the payment, you are realizing the payment, then only you are going to pay the subcontractor. Otherwise, if you are utilizing your in-house labors, regardless of you are getting paid or you are getting certified, you are going to pay to your in-house labors. This is different from your subcontracting. So these kind of cash flow surplus methods that can be implemented to improve the solvent nature of your organization, to avoid insolvency, and to have surplus cash flow. That is also, it is advisable. These are the opportunities that can be identified and implemented by the commercial manager. And risk, of course, there may be any sort of risk that is relevant to workmanship or material or even the processing method. That is going to be, maybe the tendering department didn't identify the issue when you are having some very populated, highly populated area, or it's a market area, it's a very core place of the city, or else it is a neighboring place is residential. You may not have night shifts, or where you are having highly populated and market area, you cannot have daytime concrete pouring. That is very difficult. If you are having huge volume of concrete pouring, then you have to plan with the different timing and all. Again, if it is going to be night shift, maybe your labor charges going to be higher and supply charges may be different, and you need to get additional permissions from the authorities. All these things are going to be there. So those kind of execution problems, what are all the risks which were not covered within your tender allowances, tender contingency allowances, then you may inform these things to your management and get included or improved within the contingency allowances. That is very important before proceeding. Otherwise, what will happen, as per your responsibility, you have to maintain your profitability. If you know these risks are going to occur or may occur, then you did not advise these things to your management or within the respective time before execution, and then you will get blamed for this kind of impacts which is occurring in future if the risk is occurred and you have to adjust it at a later stage. Then it is questioning your experience as a commercial manager. So anybody wants to add something or get clarified further? Yes, Mr. Joshi, anything to add?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes, Mr. Suresh, something?
No, sir. You have clarified.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The next one is the strategic advice. A project is facing a significant financial shortfall. Advise senior management on a course of action you advise should be based on a thorough analysis of project's financial position, including an assessment of forecast versus actual performance and consideration of alternative profit recognition methods. Again, this is the things you have to look for opportunities to achieve additional profit so that in some other area that will mitigate the loss in the existing shortfall. So those kind of things you have to analyze and advise them. So suppose in the beginning of the project, during the earthwork, you did not achieve the productivity. Maybe there are some unexpected nature of work that prompted you to spend more labor and achieve less productivity. So you have to analyze, even though when you are getting reported based on the elemental value of the earthwork, it is going to be negative because you are exceeding the allowances, what was planned. But you should find some alternative profit recognition methods from where you can save, maybe by doing some combined activities during the concrete pouring, or maybe during the execution of black work, or avoiding any further wastage, or reducing the wastage by saving more from the wastage material. Those kind of things you can identify and compensate the loss in one element with alternative profit recognition from other elements. That has to be done as a commercial manager. So it can be anything. Maybe one place you need to spend more for a material which was higher than the agreed supply rate during the tender. Maybe the supplier was not available, or the same supplier is not available to supply or not willing to supply at the same rate, or you didn't secure, your procurement department didn't avail any sort of agreement before this. So now you have to spend more on that item. But what you will do to maintain your profitability? That is the scenarios. This is strategic advice to identify new opportunity to save cost in some other elements to mitigate the loss in the present elements. So that is the scenario here. Anybody wants to add something from your experience, please?
Yes, I will. I will try, sir.
Yes, please.
Uh, a project is facing a significant financial shortfall. So after observing the current status of shortfall status in my project, I will advise my management the following measures in the to take following measures in the project. I will advise I will review the preliminary cost and overheads in the project. If and try I will try to minimize them. Second of all, I will check the possibility of leasing the or hiring the construction instead of purchasing that one. And also I will check the levels of material stock in the uh, store, and I will ensure that the just in time delivery to reduce the storage and avoid the handling cost and storage costs in the project. And I will also do the value engineering without compromising the quality of the project, and expedite the work progress by reducing the time consumption for completing the activity. Also, I will check that one, negotiate the payment terms with the suppliers and subcontractors. That is also I will check possibility. And procurement schedule also I will check. And mm, I will also ensure that a productivity of the resources, and review their work methodology in the project.
Okay.
This is the
Yes.
Yes, sir. This is the my understanding, sir, for this question, sir.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. It is adding perspective to the scenario, how practically you would do on day-to-day basis.
Yes, sir.
So anything else, Mr. Tarindu, Mr. Suresh?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is about insurance and liability. A major incident has occurred on site and there is a potential for a significant insurance claim. Explain the process for verifying and recovering costs under the insurance policy. Advice on the commercial decision that should be made regarding indemnities and liabilities to protect the business. So here, if you have insurance and some incident happen, then you would be able to claim from that. For that, how you will prepare for recovering the cost under that insurance policy? What are all the best method or practices that is required to be followed in order to compensate the loss occurred in the site? So this is mainly for the insurance. Usually it is not the most usual scenario for us on day-to-day basis. This is a rare occurrence. Insurance, there is a optional competency specifically addressing the insurance. But as a commercial manager, we are at certain level of duty that covers, because we have to govern the process for making sure that this risk is mitigated using the insurance, because insurance is also one sort of risk management. So risk management, it includes having adequate insurance. This insurance policy, like we have something for professional indemnity insurance. If at all we are designing something structural or some special elements that is required, detailed design other than the employer's design, or if we have some design development responsibility, then we would be having this PII cover. That is most probably at the design responsibility level. So other than that, you are having something like contractors all risk policy that is covering the works, and you have the third party liability if some damage is happening to neighborhood or someone visiting the site or something like that. And else you have the workman compensation if at all something happens to safety issues with the workers or the people working at site, then that one will be there. And again, you have the equipment that is also there for you. You have license clearly verified. You have to maintain them every 6 months. The equipments are working fine as per your local authority requirement. Then if you prove them, you would be able to claim something damage happening to or because of the equipment. That is also there. So would you like to add something, or you want to get clarified further, or you want to discuss something more in this?
Yes, so one thing is there, sir. Now, as based on this question, explain the process for verifying and recovering the cost under the insurance policy. One same insurance occurred in my current project here regarding flood occur in my project, and we have faced the insurance we have faced the losses in our project. So first of all, when I get the weather alert in advance, maybe 3-4 days before, I will make the arrangement for the protection of my resources, such as storing the material in elevated areas, then clearing the waterways, and I will make the photographs of my proactive measures taken before the incident. And after the flood is there, the lot of permanent work is damaged in my project. So immediately I informed to the insurer regarding the damage. I have taken the photographs, video clips for the damages, and I have prepared the list of the damaged permanent works, material losses, or any other third party losses along the project. I will listen. I have prepared the list. I informed to the insurer, and insurer again visited our site, and they have ensured that okay, losses are there. Then parallelly, I have started the evaluating the losses in my project, such as permanent work is there, how much the extent of damage, and as per the insurance policy conditions, that is the sections are there. According to sections, I have started the evaluation, and I prepared the preliminary estimate. So for that one, I have enclosed the work approved status, material purchase orders, then resources required to recover these damages, and all these every relevant records. I have kept daily records. I have maintained, and accordingly I have prepared the insurance claim and submitted to the insurance company to recover the losses.
That is really a good example, which is adding practical perspective to the theoretical question here. Thank you so much, Mr. Joshi. So anybody wants to add
because
something?
What happened,
yes, please.
Because what happened when this insurance type questions came, we have to also inform to the panel that we have taken the proactive measures to reduce the losses. That is also one 360-degree view of the answer.
Yes, we should not, because how we were being proactive to avoid the losses. Whenever we get weather notices or some sort of early warnings, then we should take some proactive measures. Otherwise, the insurance organizations, they try to probe why did not take any proactive measures, being careless, or they start blaming and sending queries, get some sort of explanations, and it is difficult for you to get the claim approved. So if you do these kind of things practically, automatically there won't be any difficulty in getting approval of the claim. That has to be there. This is a very good point. 360-degree of approach. That is not only looking forward, looking backward. What did we do when we get the warning?
And also, we should not take the undue benefit from the insurer company. That is also one. That is also one approach should be like this.
Yes, of course. Anybody wants to discuss further or add something to this? Okay, as of now, we covered only the level 3 questions which have been uh, included in this presentation. There are some level 2 questions you go through. If you have some doubt or anything before the next session we start, or you may discuss the same in the WhatsApp group, raise your questions. It will trigger the discussion. We can add the solutions, what is possible answers are there. We can keep the momentum going. Otherwise, next sessions before starting this presentation, we can discuss which you want to get clarified. I have some of the questions as a quiz that I will share through the WhatsApp group. Please try. It will add value to your understanding. Maybe considered as level 1 or level 2, but only if you have practical experience you would be able to understand. It is like learning experience only. There won't be anything like the quiz right or wrong. It will prompt you to give right answer until it is getting corrected. So keep that one, try, and we will see in the next session. If you want anything to discuss now, you may ask. Otherwise, let us call it as a day and conclude the session. Okay, if we have nothing further to discuss, let us conclude the session. Thank you for attending. All the best with your preparation. Keep the momentum going. We will meet in the next session. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night. Very nice session, sir. Informative session.
Thank you. Good night.